Wurno, near the Gajere River in Sokoto State, northwest Nigeria, is the headquarters of Wurno local government. It has a rich political and religious significance in the history of the Sokoto Caliphate and by extension, Nigeria. Wurno was founded in 1822 by Mohammed Bello, one of the sons of Shehu Uthman Danfodio, who later went on to found Sokoto. He was the first Serkin Sudan of Wurno, the king of the land of black people, a title bestowed on him by his illustrious father. Mohammed Bello later became the first Sultan of Sokoto Caliphate. He used Wurno as the dual capital of the historic town and the new-found empire till his demise in 1833. The town, Wurno, is older than Sokoto, the modern-day seat of the Caliphate. The root of former Nigeria's Vice President Atiku Abubakar is traceable to this historic town. How did it all begin?
Atiku is a Nigerian. We went to school together at Jeddah and finished the same year. We were neighbors. Atiku usually follows his father to the farm. His father loved and cared for him. We both lived in Kojoli.
It is an established fact that Atiku was born and grew up in the modern-day Jeddah local government area of Adamawa State, northwest Nigeria. But his grandfather, Atiku Abubakar, came originally from the historic town Wurno in Sokoto State. Sometimes in 1908, a Fulani nobleman, Ardo Usman, set out on a pilgrimage to Sokoto Caliphate from Adamawa State. His mission was to deepen his knowledge of Islam. He visited several historic sites in Wurno where he had gone to pray at Sultan Bello's tomb. Ardo Usman met and befriended Atiku Abubakar, a fellow Fulani. The blossoming friendship between them encouraged Atiku's father to decide to accompany his new friend back to his hometown of Adamawa. The older Atiku and his new friend settled in Kojoli, a small village in Jeddah local government. Atiku Abubakar embraced farming. When it was time to raise a family, he married a local girl in Kojoli. The union produced their only child, Garba Atiku Abubakar. And when it was time for Garba Atiku Abubakar to marry, he chose a young girl from Jeddah whose parents had migrated from Dutse, the capital of modern-day Jigawa State, northwest Nigeria. His wife, Aisha Kande, was born in Jeddah. The marriage produced an only child of destiny, Atiku Abubakar, a former Nigeria's vice president during Olusegun Obasanjo's administration between 1999 and 2007. Atiku was born on November 25, 1946. He was named Atiku Abubakar after his paternal grandfather Atiku Abubakar, in line with the practice among the Fulani people to name their first son after his paternal grandfather. His family house is still in existence in Kojoli.
As a young lady, I grew up with Atiku's mother. We were friends. When they settled in Kojoli, Atiku, before proceeding to school, used to assist his father, who owned a large number of cows. Atiku and two other boys were the only fortunate ones selected to attend school in Jeddah. We were neighbors. I saw him growing up. We are happy he succeeded in life.
Atiku Titi da pudo de maɓɓe warugo sam Kauma ko dirdi ko dada ma ko dada gotel baba gotel to bangi adda min dada gotel baba gotel to Atiku baba ma ko wari baba ma ko sopoto jo habe mama ma ko modani baba ma ko mami andi mo hawuro ko jodi mama ma ko mawari kan ko be biata Atiku katokara ma ko to dada ma ko be ummiti da ha
Atiku's mother's parents came from Dusi. They grew up together as kids in Kujoli. Atiku, as a Fulani boy, used to assist his father to cater for his cow. Even though we were born together and played together, we went to school in Jeddah. But I'm not so fortunate because there was no school for girls.
Initially, his father was suspicious of Western education on the ground that it could corrupt the impressionable minds of young people and a threat to cherished values and way of life. He, however, succumbed to pressure and Atiku registered at Jeddah Primary School in January 1954.
The presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, is indeed a Nigerian. He was born in this town and he started his primary school from junior primary school to senior primary school in Jeddah here. I've been a childhood friend of him and then a classmate up to Ahmed Bello University. I want to confirm to you now that he is a Nigerian. He was born in Jeddah here and he was brought up here in this town. So he's indeed a Nigerian.
In December 1957, tragedy struck in Atiku's family. He was then in year 3 in primary school and 11 years old. His father, less than 40 years and whom many described as loving and caring, drowned while trying to cross Mayo Choncha River in Tungo, Kojoli's neighboring town, as a result of a high tide caused by heavy rainfall. His tomb still exists in Tungo, where he was buried according to Islamic rites.
Akwai ruwa sosai aka akwai lokacin da aka kawo katapila an tura ruwan abin nan kasa ne kawai an ji an wuce da shi a cikin kogin mutane suna haya kai wannan din kuma da rani.
The water in this river is receding. It used to be full, creating problems for people who are eager to cross it. A number of young men usually make fortune when the river is full, as they assist several people to cross from one side of the river to another. Several years ago, they were promised that a bridge will be constructed on the river, but the promise remains a mere dream.
Atiku completed his primary school in 1960 and was admitted into Adamawa Provincial Secondary School in Yola. He proceeded to the School of Hygiene in Kano. By June 1969, Atiku completed a diploma in law program at the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. On the completion of his studies in Zaria, the Federal Civil Service Commission recruited him into the Department of Customs and Excise. He rose in the customs to the position of Deputy Director and he retired on April 30, 1989 at the age of 43. First, on retirement, he consolidated his interest as a businessman. Later, he plunged into the murky waters of politics. Of recent, frenetic politicking in Nigeria has played out in a manner that raises critical questions about the eligibility to contest for president on the account of citizenship. Our interest here is if Atiku is a Nigerian or can be classified as a non-Nigerian. Is Atiku Abubakar a Nigerian? His lineage is traceable to Wurno in Sokoto State, where his paternal grandfather, Garba Atiku Abdul Kadir, was born and raised. His paternal grandfather was an itinerant trader who left Wurno for Kojoli in Jeddah local government on a trading expedition with his friend, Ardo Usman. It was in Kojoli that his father, Garba, was born and raised. The lineage of his mother, Aisha Kande, is equally traceable to the royal family in Dutse, capital of Jigawa State. The 1999 Nigerian Constitution is very clear on the issue of citizenship. It says a person is a citizen by birth if the person was born in Nigeria before the date of October 1, 1960, or if any of the person's grandparents belongs or belonged to any of the country's indigenous groups. It is safe to presume, and some say correctly too, that since Atiku's parents were all Fulani, which is one of Nigeria's largest indigenous tribes, his Nigerianness should not be in dispute. It is an established fact that Atiku was born in Jeddah local government. He has always claimed Adamawa as his home state. In fact, in 1999, he was elected the governor of Adamawa State. He, however, did not serve the term, relinquishing the mandate after President Olusegun Obasanjo picked him as a running mate in the 1999 presidential election. He served as Vice President of Nigeria for 8 years without any dissenting voice as to his eligibility and nationality. Atiku's Nigerianness can also be attested to by the following facts. He served in the Department of Nigerian Customs and Excise for 20 uninterrupted years. He plunged into the murky waters of politics in 1989 without any inhibition. He was a delegate from Gongola State, now Adamawa and Taraba states, to the 1989 Constituent Assembly. He threw his heart into the ring for the sole presidential ticket of the defunct Social Democratic Party SDP in 1993. He was elected into the 1994 Constitutional Conference. He played an active role in the pro-democracy struggle during the Sani Abacha's tyrannical rule, which led to his going on exile. He is a recipient of the National Honor of Grand Commander of the Order of Niger GCON. He was the traditional title holder of Turaki Adamawa from 1982 to 2017 and elevated to Waziri Adamawa in 2018. Atiku is a successful major player in both the economic and educational sectors in Nigeria. The contention in Atiku's citizenship or eligibility to contest for the president arose from wrong perception or misinterpretation of the Constitution, which requires in Section 131, subsection A, that a person qualifies to run for president if he or she is a citizen of Nigeria by birth. Does Atiku Abubakar fulfill this requirement, having been born in a part of Nigeria which did not become integrated into the country until 1961 and not before independence in 1960? Section 25 of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution, as altered, states, the following persons are citizens of Nigeria by birth. A. Every person born in Nigeria before the date of independence, either of whose parents or any of whose grandparent belongs or belonged to community indigenous to Nigeria, provided that a person shall not become a citizen of Nigeria by virtue of this section if neither of his parents nor any of his grandparents was born in Nigeria. B. Every person born in Nigeria after the date of independence, October 1, 1960, either of whose parents or any of whose grandparents is a citizen of Nigeria. And C. Every person born outside Nigeria, either of whose parents is a citizen of Nigeria. Two other sections of the Constitution, 2.6 and 2.7, provide other means to acquire Nigerian citizenship aside from birth. The Constitution is crystal clear on who can become the Nigerian president. He or she must have been born in Nigeria as at or after 1960, or to Nigerian parents outside the shores of the country and having not been registered or naturalized, which are the other means of acquiring citizenship. On the score of the aforementioned provisions of the Constitution, the Nigerianness of Atiku Abubakar is a settled matter. Doubtless, Jeddah area in the present Adamawa state was not part of Nigeria until 1961. It was part of the British Trust Territories, Southern and Northern British Cameroon. On February 11, 1961, United Nations plebiscite took place in the British Northern and Southern Cameroon. On October 1, 1961, Southern Cameroon joined Republic of Cameroon. 4 months earlier, June 1, 1961 to be precise, British Northern Cameroon, who voted in favor of Nigeria, joined the country. One question arises. Having become part of Nigeria, are the people of Jeddah, where Atiku was born, not qualified to claim the citizenship of Nigeria with full rights to vote and be voted for? It is factually correct that they can claim full citizenship of Nigeria even if they were born before or after the plebiscite in 1961. The 1963 Republican Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was unambiguous on the issue of citizenship. Section 7 of the Constitution was clear on the persons who became citizens on October 1, 1960. Section 10 of the 1963 Constitution accorded citizenship of Nigeria by birth to the people of Northern British Cameroon who were absorbed into Nigeria by virtue of the outcome of the 1961 plebiscite. Both the 1979 and 1999 constitutions of the Federal Republic of Nigeria had clear provisions on citizenship. In fact, Section 309 of the 1999 Constitution is more explicit. It reads, "Notwithstanding the provisions of Chapter 3 of this Constitution, but subject to Section 28 thereof, any person who became a citizen of Nigeria by birth, registration or naturalization under the provisions of any other constitution shall continue to be a citizen of Nigeria under this constitution." Not a few people who are knowledgeable in law are of the opinion that it will be strange for anybody or group of individuals to raise any issue about the Nigerianness of Atiku Abubakar after he had served in the customs service, elected as a governor, became the vice president of Nigeria, served in other capacities in public, contested presidential elections 2 times, and the holder of the second highest honor in the land, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger. His Nigerianness is not in doubt.